Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and warm welcome to Olainfarm Investor Webinar. Our hosts for today are Chairman of the Management Board, Jeroen Weites, and Member of the Management Board, Zane Kotāne. As always, we will start the webinar with company's presentation, after which we will proceed with questions and answers session. Please type your question in the questions box, which can be found in the settings panel on the right side of your screen. I would now like to turn the conference over to the speakers who will proceed with the presentation.
Thank you. It's my honor to welcome everyone to Olainfarm webinar. And this time we talk about Q4 for the whole year 2020 results. As already described, we are having today's session in 4 parts. We will start the presentation with explanations on financial performance. Then we will briefly touch on outlook for 2021. This time we have structured in a way that outlook covers not only financial numbers, but a bit insight in business, what we are planning to do. In outlook session, we switch over also to our CEO. And the next is year in review, like focusing on what has been key achievements for 2020. And we close today with question and answer session. So again, repeating, my name is Zane Kotāne, a member of Management Board and Group CFO. And the presentation will continue by Jeroen Weites, Group CEO and Chairman of Olainfarm Management Board. Let's start with key numbers. As you know, Olainfarm is reporting on 3 key numbers: sales, Ebitda, and net profit. This time, in summary, we have included both sets of numbers, the group numbers and also Olainfarm standalone numbers, as we are also showing to investors as a forecast both sets of numbers. Let me focus on sales. I think one of the highlights which I want to mention is the sales numbers of Olainfarm. Standalone, this is in line and even a bit better than the standalone target which we were promising to investors. Yet what we have seen from COVID second wave in Latvia in the fourth quarter, that the group numbers are a bit less than expected by the group. So we ended the year with 122 million in sales, which is 11% down to last year numbers. If we look at Ebitda, then situation actually shows very stable performance, especially if we compare standalone numbers to 2019 and standalone numbers 2020, then actually standalone numbers show stable performance. Year over year at group level, minus 70%, also explained by group overall performance. Yet net profit line, if we saw compared to the targets what was set, is down, and this is mostly due to currency fluctuations, what we see in a Olainfarm business. And I will cover a bit more on each of these drivers. Yet I want to say on the first slide that all key markets have delivered sales growth in 2020 if compared to prior year, except Russia, which has been mostly impacted by temporary factors. And a couple of these temporary factors to mention is regulatory changes due to sterilization requirements and currency fluctuations. And overall, I would say that this is a great year on Olainfarm in improving in governance and changing the business model, what has been done in this year to make stable growth in future years. If we continue, as you know, stock exchange requirements ask us particularly to cover COVID impact on operations. The Latvia's second wave in COVID started exactly in Q4. And what we saw that some of our subsidiaries had challenges to recover back on that. But as a standalone company, as a parent company, we can say that all the measures which we have implemented in Q1 in making sure that our factory works continue to be very useful also at the end of the year. And production in the factory has not stopped, and we have been capable of providing our clients with non-stop medicine, which is required for different countries and clients. The benefit of that, why we could do it, is our vertical integration. So we are producing those active pharmaceutical ingredients and also final dosage forms, and that allows us to less rely on supply chains, which had challenges during the COVID times. What we saw in several markets, that we could not fully execute our marketing activities. Face-to-face meetings, which Olainfarm had been used in the past, could not fully be done in 2020. Yet I would say already in the third quarter, what also was reported to investors, we have done a lot of digital assessments and changed our business models so that we can deliver targeted marketing activities in digital environment. Yet what we saw that the purchasing power in several countries have been impacted through the COVID crisis, and that impacts affordability to buy medical products, especially in the countries where medical products are not covered by government subsidies and support, but more like out-of-pocket expenses for people. In these markets, we see switch to cheaper medicine in general trend. Then our subsidiaries, as to mention, and you will see it in later slides, compression materials, something which are linked to particular goods which are needed for particular episodes, of course, were impacted by the fact that these surgeries and operations are not happening due to COVID circumstances. Also, additional effect which we saw from COVID is CAPEX implementation delays, as we had recommendation from European Medicine Agency that clinical trials cannot be started at the time of COVID, and those are deferred to 2021. And as you see, that CAPEX program was not executed at the level which were initially planned. And also reporting the subsidies received by the group. In total in 2020, 529,000 euros is what has been received by the group as support in the COVID-related circumstances. Then moving to sales. This time what we have done to illustrate more text, which we always show, is this one-off activities. What we always refer how 2020 differs from 2019 is this transaction at the end of 2019, which were shipped as a primary sales to distributors for consumption in 2020. So actually the 6 million were supposed to be for the market participants buying in the first quarter. Similar transaction happened at the end of second quarter. Again, shipment to Russia amounting to 8 million for consumption in the third quarter. So what we see that if these one-off activities which are linked to regulatory environments were not happening, that actually the fourth quarter of 2020 is by 3% higher than the same period last year. And also, even taking into account this one-off transactions, what we see is major increase from the third quarter 2020 to the fourth quarter 2020, and showing really strong results. Also, what we constantly report is trailing 12 months sales, and here we see like more trends in sales line with general economic performance of the industry linked to actually growth rates in the different countries where we operate. If we move next to the segments, the largest segment, as always, is medicine production. Strong performance, overall 61% of portfolio. Then very good performance this year also for the retail segment, where we have pharmacy chains, stable performance, less impact from COVID, showing increase year over year. As already mentioned, what we have to report is that most impacted by COVID situation is compression materials, down 2.3 million compared to prior year, or 36%. So if you see in total numbers, then it's down from 8.8 million in 2019 to 6.5 million in 2020. So that has been the segment which is mostly impacted due to closing of services. Also, what we have in other segment is clinics, which were even closed several months due to stopping procedures related to COVID situation. So those are impacts we have in the group in 2020. If we move next, what I also stressed already on the first slide, very proud to report that we have only one country which shows negative growth year over year. Latvia, Central Asia, Ukraine, Belarus all show increase despite the situation of COVID and in particular these countries. Overall, I would say the highest market, the largest market that we have in 2020 is Latvia, 39.2 million, plus 0.4 million compared to last year. Even with Russia decreasing by 36% due to temporary factors, which I will cover later, even with that decrease, Russia is the second largest country from Olainfarm. So basically what we see, 28 million of products sold, and really high in our portfolio. Continued by Belarus, and the fourth largest market is Ukraine. Let me focus on Russia. I think we had the third quarter presentation, which really went deeper in Russia, but still relating back to this and summarizing Russia performance in 2020, I would say that peak impact is ruble exchange rate, which is very volatile to business of Olainfarm. So basically what we see in 2020 is Russian ruble dropping by 32%, and that is what is really impacting situation. Besides that, what we saw is also Traceability Revolution, or so-called settlization. What it requires is that starting from October this year, any shipments in Russia has to comply with this new regulation. As we are delivering to the primary market to distributors, we saw that their behavior, buying behavior, changed in 2020 to make sure that they have enough stocks when the new regulation comes in. So we had extraordinary requirements to ship to Russia in the last quarter of last year, and also in June 2020, due to the fact that these regulations were expected to be coming in force initially from beginning of 2020, and then the third to the half year 2020. So these shipments impacted the comparative numbers, and you look at 1 year versus the other year. What we also saw is that we have changed the business model, and there has been major restructurings in that in 2020, shifting distributors to tier 1 companies, having less risk on credit risks, and also changing the market model. In-house marketing, which was fully operational from September. So what you saw, the Olainfarm numbers and reputation really getting back in the market starting from this fourth quarter. Then moving to net profit drivers, the bottom line, and this is the chart summarizing 1 year versus the other year. And if you see the main factor which impacts comparative numbers, then it's 12 million in gross profit line. And if you look at the gross profit line, how it breaks down, then actually the major impact comes from gross margin changes in Russia, so Russian market. And Russian market, approximately half is split on one-off item of shipment in a different period and consumption, and the other half comes from currency exchange fluctuations. Selling expenses less than last year implies that what I was also saying is not fully executed marketing activities as initially planned. And then also a major item is financial result, which is so large when you see compared 2019 to 2020 for two reasons. The fact that 2019 was really positive with 1.3 million positive impact, and 2020 being negative of 6 million negative impact. In total, the difference between the years is 7.3 million euros, which is currency situation negatively impacting the group operations. Then we look at segments by products. Still top 6 products are performing the best in the group and showing stable proportions. Increasing share a bit of Adaptol, stable of all the other products, and really having the strong product performance in all markets. The same about therapeutical areas, if you see the same areas being important in group. Financial stability, very strong cash situation due to the fact that some of the investments which were planned could not be delivered. We couldn't start clinical trials on our top 6 products which we were planning in 2020. Those deferred to 21, but we have enough resources to do so. It's to stress something which is very positive, I would say, in the last year, that we could pay out dividends to the shareholders amounting to 4.5 million euros, and those were paid in Q4 2020. Then outlook. I think important message this time. Let me start with expectations on dividend payment for results of 2020. As you know, the Olainfarm has approved a dividend policy, which says that dividends has to be paid at least 20% of audited results for a prior year. Currently, the results are not yet audited, but if these results agree to what we have been reporting to stock exchange, then the management board expects to suggest dividends of 0.17 euro per share, or in total it would be approximately 2.4 million euros in payments. Then regarding the numbers, so what we see next year, we are coming to the market with record high sales for the group. It's 40% increase from 2020, reaching 140 millions, and also increase in sales for the parent company, approximately 8.6% compared to what we have closed in this year. Estimated annual profit for the group, 8.6 million euros, and for the parent company, 6.5 million. Then what we are saying that next year we would like to focus mostly on research and development investments. And in total, we expect to invest in various research and development initiatives, 10.2 million euros, for reaching 10% from the sales in the standalone accounts. If we compare to 2020, then research and development investments were approximately 3% from the revenues. So it's really growth, which we are expecting next year to deliver. Then our regular capex, maintenance capex of the parent company is expected to be almost 14 million or 13.8 million. Then I would also want to draw your attention on additional policy changes, which we are implementing starting from 21. And the first is change in accounting policy regarding cost of goods sold or inventories. It's basically we are starting to use standard cost method in assessment of cost of goods sold and assessment of inventories values. That would allow us to overcome different production capacities in different quarters and show a bit more steady results for the group. And the second, I think, is the important message which we would like to deliver. As you saw, Olainfarm Group is very much impacted by foreign currency rates and how the foreign currency performs. And starting from 2021, Olainfarm Group uses foreign currency forward contracts in order to maintain fixed exchange rates and on already existing sales receivables and to reduce overall foreign exchange currency exposures. So what we are not hedging is forward sales, but we are hedging receivables. So impacting the line, which is foreign exchange currency fluctuations, but not, of course, the sales line on top. Let me pass over to Jeroen on the next slide.
Yeah, thank you, Zane. And it's my honor to present to you the 2021 business outlook. So besides the financial numbers, the financial KPIs, the supervisory council also discussed with the management board a few other key performance indicators. They are split in 4 dimensions. The first dimension is the customer dimension, basically working on our improvement of the brands and the product awareness in the market, and also to implement the customer relation management tool. So that's basically a digital tool for our customers, basically where we can report, but also where we can start more to communicate in the digital pathways with our customers. The second dimension is the financial dimension, of course, to meet our financial targets, as just described also by Zane, but also to work continuously on European projects, European funding projects. Some of them I will cover in the later slide, what we already have achieved. Development and learning dimension. There is the dimension where we focus on the strengthening of our R&D capabilities. So not just on, let's say, moving forward with new products, but also really to have the right capabilities to deliver to our growth ambition within the group, and also to focus on our product development. That's both internally product development, but also externally by product acquisition. And the fourth dimension is the management dimension. Zane already mentioned on the corporate governance, other items to work on and to improve to meet, let's say, the new code of conduct. And secondly, to come with a digital strategy and mid to long-term digital strategy. If there's one learning from 2020, especially when it comes to COVID, the digital strategy, we need to speed up really fast. Every quarter, and also this call, I present to you our R&D pipeline. So basically, that's the pipeline for in-house development. There are 3 new products to report, 1 in neurology and 2 in urology. If you look from a business potential, again, that is the amount of products that we are discussing internally. And when we believe that we can make it, it moves to the visibility phase. When it comes to the visibility phase, we have 26 products that I can report to you in development. And compared to a year ago, when basically we had an empty pipeline, I would say this is a significant achievement within the company. We also receive questions about our clinical program. The title is called Pharma 2020, and actually, you know, the program started already, let's say, with a deadline in 2020, but it always has moved, and now the updated dossiers should be in place as of January 1st, 2026. Here you can see our 6 flagship products, and the program that we have put in place is working on 2 dimensions. One is to continue the registration of our current 6 products mentioned here in the existing markets, but also to work on a label extension. So basically new indication. And the advantage of having a label extension is also that you can work on your data and your data exclusivity from a patent perspective. So it's very important for the company to not only focus on the current market with the current products to keep the registration, but also really think about future indications when it comes to the label to secure the business also for the future. On the left, you can see the phase 1 that are completed in 2021. Then what Zane already mentioned, we got on hold to start phase 3 because of the COVID situation. There you can see on the phase 3 level where we are with our current products. Let's say when it comes to the protocol submission, the phase 3 when we believe we can start with the first patients, and then the phase 3 completion, and then the market access. The market access you should read as that we have the regulatory approval, the pricing approval, and that we can really launch those products. There's one disclaimer I have to make. When you talk about these authorities, about phase 3 trials, of course, there are always questions going back and forward. So based on the, let's say, our discussion with authorities, time pass may change. Let's look at 2020, what we have accomplished. We presented to you our new strategy, our 5-year strategy, because it's important that as a company we have a strategy and we have a vision in place. And the vision is to become in the top 10 of the Central and Eastern European manufacturing companies. What are we looking at? We are looking at our double-digit growth of sales. We are looking at enhancing our R&D and new products. We are looking at geographic expansion, so to Europe and beyond. And we are looking into modernizing and digital optimization. What we also have accomplished already in 2020 is the business transformation. In 2020, I mentioned already to you before that the focus was on focusing on fixing the base. So we are looking into our operational footprint, and we talk about Russia, for example, Ukraine, for example, and we are also putting a culture in place, and we are developing our people not only to empower, but also to make rapid decisions needed to meet our strategic ambition. We also made a few changes. In Tonen Zelast, we changed the management team. Latvia, we also have a new CEO appointed. And when it comes to Silvernos and Diamet, the focus there is to increase the efficiency, to look into the business segments, and also more to look into e-commerce activities. Sustainable manufacturing. We also deliberately put a few pictures there on the right to tell you a little bit more what we mean with the different wording. So introduction of experimental technologies to manufacture new products. That basically exist of quality control, R&D, and production. And if you look to the picture on the top right, there is our serialization machine, so the traceability for the Russian market. This is one of the machines. Other items that we have worked on in 2020 and also recently was out in the news is the opening of our cold station, 2.7 million in investment. And here on the right, you can see me opening the cold station and also the cold station on the down. For the, let's say, for the good person looking at it, you don't see any people there. So basically this cold station is operating without any people, any people involvement. So everything is automatically. Good manufacturing practice. We obtained or renewed our GMP license for Russia. As Zane was already mentioning, Russia is an extremely important market for Olainfarm now and also for the future. So we are very, very proud that we managed to obtain our GMP for Russia. And as you can also see, we also have the GMP license in Europe and also the inspection standards that we're meeting in the US, Australia, and Japan. It's really important for companies Olainfarm that we are meeting those requirements to build further on our growth platform. When we talk about our different markets and about our operational footprint, I'm really happy to that we have put the completely new team in place in Russia, so that we moved it to our own Olainfarm premises in Russia, with people, dedicated people to our products. Unfortunately, due to COVID, the success in the field, especially about the personal context, could not always be established, but instead they conducted a lot of digital programs with the medical doctors to continue the sales in Russia. We introduced the traceability, what Zane already mentioned, and a third point is also we are working on our Ukraine office. We found a new head, and also there, like in Russia, we have established a new Olainfarm premises or representative office over there, and we hired already 25 employees to work on. We see also Ukraine, besides Russia and Latvia, as a growth platform for Olainfarm business. When we talk about new hires, we also believe in people. We also believe in new people. Olainfarm is working hard with the universities in Latvia to attract young talents to come and to join Olainfarm Group. So we're donating also for sponsorships. We've donated 10,000 to promote on the digitalization of the study process to the Riga Stradiņš University, and also the scholarship to partners that we are supporting financially is University of Latvia, the Riga Stradiņš University, and the Riga Technical University. We have a lot of students coming into Olainfarm for 3 months or 6 months, and of course one of the intentions and the goals is not only to sponsor them, but also to offer them a contract for any open function that we may have in the future. Besides the business, our corporate responsibility is important as a big employer in Latvia towards the Latvian society. We supported the Stradiņš Clinical University with $100,000 or €100,000 donation to buy a lung ventilation equipment. And as you know, that lung machines are extremely important during the COVID-19 situation. We also supported the National Reference Laboratory of Riga with a donation to purchase an equipment to test the COVID blood, if I may say it like this. And thirdly, what is not mentioned here, we also supported the Children's Hospital with a few mattresses, because also children need during COVID-19 the support of Olainfarm. That's basically what I would like to share with you about Olainfarm's performance for 2020, the financial performance and our achievements. Zane also took you through the 2021 outlook, and I open now the floor for Q&A. For any question, please.
Thank you for the very interesting presentation. Now let's proceed with the questions. But before, a kind reminder to those who haven't yet submitted their questions that you can still do it in the questions section in the settings panel zone. We have received one question which was partially already answered during the presentation, but maybe you could once more highlight what are the key R&D activities for 2021.
Thank you for the question, because I'm a firm believer that the future of Olainfarm is also the future of our own R&D, so that basically means that we need to fuel our own pipeline. As you know, we are strong in a few areas. Think about urinary urology, we are strong in cardiovascular, we are strong in CNS neurology. So what we are doing is we are developing products in the area of the segments that we are strong in. And what kind of products are we producing or looking into? We are looking into APIs, so active pharmaceutical ingredients. We are looking into final dose form, so basically the final product, and we are looking into intermediates. And this will help us to not only to fuel the pipeline, but more importantly, will help us to drive the value for the future growth of Olainfarm.
Thank you. It looks like all questions are already answered. So a recording of the webinar will be available in the Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel and in company's announcements. Zane, Jeroen, thank you very much for the presentation and also for answering the questions. And participants, thank you for joining. Until next time.